If you're making a platformer, you've got to get your main character feeling good. Because sloppy physics, unresponsive controls, floaty jumps, and imprecise movement are completely toxic in platformer design. So it's vitally important you get this stuff right.
Said Mark Brown in a Game Maker's Toolkit episode. Though in your early days as a game developer, it is likely that your first character controllers look like that, instead of that. In this video I'll show you how to write a proper, tight controller that you can expand in whatever way you wish. I will be using Unity and C#, but you can totally apply these principles to other engines. Remember that the important isn't the code, but the logic. Here are the steps you will need to follow. Step 1. Define clearly what your player will be able to do. Can he walk, crouch, jump, dash, move in midair, climb up walls? I will stick with something simple here, so let's just say mine can only walk and jump, with complete air control. Step 2. Set your scene up. In Unity, create a square with a box collider and a rigid body. Attach an empty game object under his feet. This will be your ground check. Create also a ground object under the layer of ground. Step 3. Define your scripting logic. Attach two scripts to the player character. One will be responsible for moving around, and the other one will modify gravity depending on if the player is jumping, falling, or just walking around. Following this tutorial by Broforce Games. Step 4. Write the player controller script. First, define some variables such as speed, jump force, ground check radius, ground check position, and a ground layer mask. Reference the attached rigid body in SpriteRenderer using GetComponent. Then, execute this code each frame. Check if we're on the ground or not using the method physics2d.overlapCircle at the position of our ground check object in the selected radius, targeting the selected layer. Assign this value to a bool. Get the movement input from the player with input.getAxisRaw. This gives you a value between -1 and 1, and assign it to a float. Apply the input to the rigid body by multiplying the x input with the speed variable and assigning it to the rigid body's velocity property. Get the jump input with input.getButtonDown, and if true, jump by first checking if we're grounded, then using rigidbody.addForce to launch the character up in the air. I put the jump code into fixed update because messing around with physics in update isn't very accurate. Make sure that the character is facing the direction it's going towards using the handy SpriteRenderer.flipX bool. For extra convenience, add the onDrawGizmosSelected function with Gizmos.drawWireSphere inside to add a visual hint when tweaking the ground check radius. Finally, I'll increase the gravity scale property in the start method that multiplies physics.gravity by its value for extra tightness. Step 5. Write the better jumping script. Start by defining two multiplier variables and a rigid body reference. Then, each frame, if we're falling, set the gravity scale to the fall multiplier. Else, if we're jumping up but not holding the jump button, set gravity scale to low jump multiplier. Else, that is to say, if we're not touching any button, set the gravity scale back to default. Step 6. Play, tweak values until you get it right for your needs. And there you have it, a fully functional, tight 2D player controller. You'll find in the description the source code, using both the old and the new input systems, as well as links to the Unity scripting reference for pretty much everything I talked about. I'd like to thank Broforce Games for their simple yet incredibly useful code, in Mark Brown for allowing me to use his audio. Thanks for watching, and remember, if I can do it, so can you.